exactly what they want to do about their image, their dented image. Remember last year there was a report that cited the Ghana Police as the most corrupt institution in Ghana. If you mention Ghana Police, I'm sure corruption will be one of the things that will be associated with the police service. But the police service has identified that indeed their image is denting, it's definitely going into the gutter, and they want to get it clean right now. So they've enumerated a number of steps and strategies to get the image back to where it needs to be. Well, DSP Sefasatha is here. He speaks for the police service. Good to see you. Where is your armband? I don't collect bribe. Where's yours?
I have my badge here. My armband.
I can see it. Yes. Don't accept bribe.
That's so.
Okay.
My armband, a member of the public met me, and she admired it so much, so I had to give it to her.
Which says I don't collect bribe?
Yes, I don't accept bribe.
I mean,
it's applicable both sides.
Okay. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so this press conference, yes, I'm sure this morning you've heard a lot of people talking about exactly the points the IGP raised yesterday. Yes. Now, critical to most of us is the statement he made about the public sometimes forcing the police officers to take bribe from them. I think it's two-way. If I force you and you don't want it, don't take it. It's as simple as that. Exactly. Now, how are you expecting your men and women, because at the head office, I mean, some of you are seniors, but your men and women on the roads, how do you expect them to implement the beautiful strategies you made public yesterday?
Thank you very much. In the first place, I want to look at your opening statement. That's
the most corrupt institution.
About making police and corruption synonymous.
Isn't it?
At all. And we don't want to debate it, except that I want to draw viewers' attention to the fact that it's not true. That police and corruption.
There have been a number of reports that have suggested that the police service.
Don't let us go into that. Let's go to
No, we will lead to that. It's all part of your image. You dispute these reports.
We have disputed almost all of them, and we have come out to state why some of them were not up to scratch. And we are not running away from the fact that we have within our fold a few bad nuts who go about tarnishing the image of the service by indulging in some vices, some practices that are not professional. And some of these are bribe-taking, acts of brutality, undue detention of suspects, poor management of suspects and others. So we have come out to accept some of these things, but the fact that the police are always put on top of the rating as the most corrupt institution, in fact, it's a long way to go. If you
find it unfair?
Very, very unfair. Very, very unfair. And we think that not much of work goes into that.
Into the research?
Exactly.
Okay, fine. Let's put it aside now. So now, how do you expect your people to implement what you read to us yesterday?
Yes, it's something that are in our books. We continuously hammer them to our personnel at what we call welfare meetings. We have the various documents available to them also to be reading. Police service instruction, handbook on police, and code of ethics that the administration has come out with. All these things are there. We have distributed it to them, and they have it and they read them. And
do they implement them?
Largely, they implement them. I must say that even from the IGP speech, just a few nuts, but a few bad nuts within our fold are the people who are really dragging our names in the mud. But then, whether they are few or not, at least it's costing us a lot. It is, in fact, that kind of attitude of theirs that is being used to generalize policing or police, and so we need to tackle it. We have come out with so many interventions in the past. We have had what we call the image cleansing. We now have the Police Intelligence and Professional Standards Bureau.
PIPS.
We have the Inspection and Monitoring Unit, which has come back again. Now we have had the use of surveillance cameras, spearheaded by Commissioner of Police Rosebud Atinga. They have all worked to varying degrees of successes, but it is about time that we coordinated all these activities and propped it up properly, so that it can make the right impact that you want to make.
How bruised is your image?
In fact, largely part of it is perceptual.
Okay.
But then,
how did you get there?
Well, we have carried some baggage from the past, and some of the attitudes of our personnel in the conduct of their duties, in the performance of their duties, have also contributed to this perception. We think that largely over the couple of years we have corrected it, and so we could not be where we started from. But then the perception has been there. You realize that over a couple of years, since 2011 upwards, a lot have gone into policing, such that presently we have a lot of people commending the police for doing what we are doing these days. The case in point is the visibility patrol that we have. Everybody is mentioning it.
That seems like a trump card, isn't it?
It is a trump card, and that is what gives the police the impression that it is opportune. The time is nigh for the police to capitalize on this footing, on this strong footing, and then launch this campaign. And it's a campaign that is targeted at personnel of the service. But since, as IGP and the Director General of Public Affairs said, it takes two to tango, it means that it is better that we carry along our colleagues in the general public, so that together we can fight it. That is why even the call for the public also to desist from compromising the police, from corrupting the police, also came in. Otherwise, the focus was mainly on the police. The IGP enumerated the practices and activities that when the police do, it tarnishes the image of the service, and call on them to desist, and went ahead to mention institutions in place to deal with them. But then after having spoken about those ones, then there's the need for him to cross over to the public, to draw their attention to what they also do to corrupt the police and make the police unpopular and reduce the confidence of the general public in the police. That is how come the public was also given their bit of cake, small share of the cake.
Okay, I'm just wondering what a sticker or a badge would do differently.
It will do a lot. It is a matter of psychological kind of warfare that we are launching. If you agree to wear this, then you have psyched yourself to live by the tenets, the master messages, the pieces of master messages contained on the items that you are wearing. If, for instance, I am an MTTU officer, or I'm a CID officer working, and then somebody came to my office and reported a case that needed attention. I had this red band on my wrist, and it reads "Don't accept bribe." And then I stretched forth my hand to the caller and asked me to give me bribe so that I can assist him do his work. I mean, my mind will break me. It is here. And then you are also empowered as a member of public.
Assuming that this police officer we are talking about has conscience.
Yes.
Assuming that he has a conscience. And if he doesn't, it becomes just one of those armbands that everybody would wear.
No, in fact, it is a strategy we have identified would work for us. It will not work for everybody.
How much research did you do into this?
Oh, a lot of research.
And you are convinced that by wearing the armbands and the badges, police officers would desist from taking bribes, and the public will also...
It will form part of what to... push police officers to desist, because there are other things in place. We have the institutions, the units that are going to deal with you.
Okay, now since you mentioned deal with you, and in this case you're talking about your men and women, the police officers.
Exactly.
Okay. A case in point is when the public feels that an investigation involving a police officer has dragged so long? Even when it is completed,
Yes.
we don't hear the report.
Yes.
What happened to your men who brutalized some land guards in cantonments last year? What happened to that?
Oh, a lot was going on. The last time I knew, the officer was being investigated, was in interdiction. The last time we held a press briefing, I think we came out with the progress on all such cases, cases involving police misconduct. What has finally taken place, the result, I can't mention it right now because I haven't apprised myself of it myself. But then the officer was under serious investigation, and that so applied to almost all the cases involving the police officers. Then some of the officers were even facing
some of
court.
these investigations take too long, and you can understand why the public at some point would have some apathy.
And the administration realizes that. The administration realizes that. So we have, as part of the various categories of things that we are going to take a look at, administrative weaknesses.
You have a lot of that.
It is in this thing. We have a few. Why not? We are a human institution, and there could be a few of them.
Take me through some of these weaknesses. Is it that you don't have personnel, or you don't have the tools to work with, or just getting access to information is a challenge?
You mean the weakness in the administration? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just a relaxation of some of the rules, unconsciously. Okay. For instance, let me cite a case about transfer. Some time passed. The laws, the rules, and the regulation governing transfer was kind of unconsciously relaxed a bit, where one could just walk to an officer and beg for a transfer, and it could be granted, not taking cognizance of the fact that when he is being taken out of the place, nobody is going to replace. Thereby creating a lacuna where he is living, and once in a while it could happen. Now we are drawing the administration. It is not even only for personnel. The administration has identified its own aspect of the lapses and are drawing its own attention to it and charging itself to live by the tenets. What we call the service instruction, the police Bible. It has everything that will make the police one of the best in the world.
Bible?
Yeah, we call it police Bible, service instruction.
I see. And is it adhered to the letter?
Not to the letter. That is why we have some lapses. If we were adhering to it,
you wouldn't have all these challenges coming up.
And that's why we are going back, as it were in IGP's language all the time, to the basics. Go back to the basics. And
isn't it too late?
At all.
To go back to the basics.
At all.
Because you do reckon that you've indeed recruited some people who have no right to be in the police service.
I don't know about that.
How I'm looking for a very good adjective. I don't want to use a word that may offend you. But how strict, that's a very lovely word, is your recruitment process?
Quite strict. In fact,
but you still have instances where
we observe
had people of very devious characters in your service.
Dubious character is quite debatable. You see, it has been my
police
own
officers
personal...
giving off their arms to armed robbers. Police officers lending their uniforms to armed robbers. That is not dubious?
Well, if by what they are doing, but not by what they were before they were recruited.
But you do background checks, don't you?
Exactly. That is why I have my own personal view that it's not everybody who joins the police service and misconducts himself who had a criminal record before joining. There are people who take advantage, who after joining and realizing the powers conferred on him or her by the uniform can abuse it. Yes, we have those people, and in my personal view, they are in the majority because we do a lot of checking into the background of the people that we are recruiting, and so as I said, the uniform is very powerful, and it needs somebody who is disciplined, very disciplined, to be able to have the powers that it confers on you to provide security, maintain law and order, and not to abuse it.
But don't you get frequent reports of abuse?
Frequent reports?
For instance, my colleague Ahmad this morning was telling us of a very simple case that should have been resolved beautifully, but she almost felt that the policeman had a personal vendetta against her right from the beginning.
We get some cases of abuse, otherwise we wouldn't come out with this. And
let me read certain things to you. How frequent you get these abuse reports?
Not very frequent, but frequent enough to cause some worry and to cause some concern among the police administration. That's why we have excessive use of force, illegal over-detention of suspects, settling old scores, and the IGP mentioned it yesterday, wrongful arrest and detention. Some of these things occur in levels that cause for concern. That is why we have set all these things out in our book called Program for the Reaffirmation of Public Confidence in the Police Service.
Can I have it? When I was listening to the IGP, I just, kept thinking about his predecessors, who also had reason to assemble his people, like we saw yesterday, to speak to issues, to talk really tough. And after a period, everything goes back to normal, and then another IGP will come back and talk again.
Frankly speaking, this particular program is a subset, is taken from the 5-year strategic policing plan that was launched in 2010 by IG's predecessor. So it is not
saying that we've had IGPs always talk tough about the bad nuts in the service, about bribe taking. It's not the first time we're hearing an IGP told that line. Why should IGPs always be speaking the same language? I mean, if his predecessor had said it before, he should be heading towards a new direction. But it's a case where your men are still doing the same thing.
You see, the unexamined, the religious people will say that the unexamined faith is not worth having. Similarly, the unexamined work is not worth having. So constantly, you need to be streamlining things and drumming home the rules and regulations governing a particular institution, any particular organization, to personnel, so that they keep by it and not deviate from it.
How much training do you give your personnel? Refresher courses? How often?
A lot of courses.
How often?
A lot of courses. And you see...
is it frequent?
Quite frequent. Quite frequent of late. In the past, I said that a lot of things kind of lapsed, went to some realization. But a couple of years back, the administration identified, upon careful study of the situation, some of the lapses or some of the factors that are causing the lapses in our own delivery, and therefore decided to put things in shape otherwise, look at, once again, let me make reference to the patrol department that has been set up, the visibility patrol, to be marijuana on the voter Accra Tamavota region road. I
know of a particular case where a police officer arrested another gentleman at Achimota. The policeman was involved in stealing cables.
I was going to mention that one also. And then quite recently, the police officer who, through acts of bravado, was able to help save the Chief Justice of the Russia, has also been decorated with a medal. So it is a practice that was dying very fast, or that was dead, that this particular police administration has decided to resuscitate and revive, to give some kind of morale to police officers. So now, as it stands now, police officers know that when they do any act that borders on the exemplary thing, they will be appreciated. And so you see that these days the police officers are putting their shoulders to the wheel. While we have a few of them trying to tarnish our image, we have a lot more of them who are keeping their noses to the floor, who are keeping their shoulders to the wheel and pushing the wheel day and night. You see police officers, sometimes even when their colleagues are not able to report due to sickness, are prepared to stand in for them, continue their duties and stand in for them and provide security.
Okay, this is probably not part of the reason you're here, but it sometimes bothers me a lot. You know, you see police officers on the roads. You know, you go to work in the morning, they're there.
Yes.
You go back around 4 p.m., they are still there.
Yes.
And sometimes you wonder, I mean, what kind of provision is made for them? How do you cater for these police officers?
I don't know what you are saying, whether you are saying that it's the same set of police officers.
Yes.
But sometimes you might miss the point that it is a new shift. That is one.
Around Kalkudi, I see the same police officers all the time.
No, I mean, the possibility is there that it could be the same police officers. But the practice is that there should be shift.
Okay.
So somebody else should come.
But you don't have enough personnel, do you? You're not doing 1 to 500.
No, but it has improved drastically. We are now doing around 1 to 740 something.
Which is still not appropriate.
But very, very improved, because we were just about 2 years ago doing 1,200, and now we are around 1 to 700 and something.
How do we
are approximating. We are approximating the UN ratio of 1:500 very fast.
Very fast.
And it was also embodied in the 5-year development policing plan that we had, and we augmented by recruiting.
By recruiting?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted you to take me through your recruitment process again, if you have it offhand.
I have it offhand.
Okay.
And when you scale through that one, then you wait patiently for a letter inviting you to a training school to start training.
Okay.
Then, before then, as you qualify, before you start training, we delve into your background.
Okay.
As part of it, we take fingerprint of yours and research into your background. And these are some of, even whilst you are still in training, you can be told that, please, you have to go home, you can't continue with training.
Yeah. Well, we've heard of instances where politicians and people occupying very powerful positions have called to smuggle their nephews and nieces into the service. True or false?
This is the perception and the rumors that some people bandy about. I don't know about that. What I know about is what I've talked about.
Okay. Thank you very much.